Have you ever thought that your life could be turned upside down in an instant? What would you do when you suddenly feel like the ground has been pulled out from under you while you trust in your 16-year marriage and your best friend, thinking everything is fine? The story I live tells of such a moment. What seemed like an ordinary life turned into a dark spiral, with betrayals that surfaced unexpectedly and revenge plans fueled by anger. But the most painful part is that no one could have predicted how this story would end. So, are you ready to learn this terrifying secret? I'm Sam. I'm an ordinary man, and there wasn't much to write about in my life, at least until these events unfolded. Melissa and I have been married for 16 years. We've been through so much together that I thought we could overcome anything up until then. We argued, we made up, but we always came back and moved forward. Melissa was the kind of woman who changed everything when she walked into a room, making people feel important, radiant. Marrying her made me feel like the luckiest man in the world. But then, everything changed. Jason, my best friend, the most reliable person in my life, we had been friends for 20 years. I was there for him when he lost his wife in a car accident. His daughter, Emma, was just 10 years old then. During those difficult times, Melissa acted like a mother figure to Emma, supporting her. Emma often visited us, practically growing up in our home. She saw me as Uncle Sam, and I loved her like my own sister. However, I never could have predicted things would take such a dark turn. One day, I came home early from work due to a stomachache and saw Jason's car parked in front of my house. That wasn't unusual, but something was different that day. Something unsettling stirred inside me. The door was locked, something Melissa rarely did. I pulled out my keys and entered the house, which was eerily quiet, but that silence was broken by muffled sounds coming from upstairs. At first I couldn't make sense of it, but after a few seconds, I realized what those sounds meant. As I climbed the stairs, my heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would explode between my ribs. When I reached the room, the sight before me shattered my entire world. Melissa, the woman I had shared my life with for 16 years, was lying on top of my best friend Jason, their bodies intertwined. Both froze when they saw me. Melissa's mouth hung open, and Jason jumped out of bed in a panic. I can't even begin to describe what I felt at that moment. When I slammed the baseball bat I was holding into the floor, they both flinched, but I hadn't even begun yet. Melissa pleaded, "Sam, wait. Please don't do anything, let's talk." I ignored her. I advanced toward Jason, and the punches I landed on his face gave me some temporary relief. But the problem was, I wasn't going to make him pay for this betrayal with just my fists. When I walked out of that cursed house that day, the only thing on my mind was revenge. As I stepped out of the house, my heart was shattered. I didn't know what to do or where to go. My mind was still trying to process the horror of that moment, while my body automatically walked towards the car. I saw Jason's car. I was as furious at that car as I was at Jason and Melissa. The baseball bat was still in my hand, and without a second's hesitation, I swung it at the windshield. The glass shattered into pieces, and the act gave me brief satisfaction, but there was nothing that could fill the emptiness inside me. I got into my car, and all I wanted at that moment was to escape somewhere, to try to forget what had happened. As I replayed the event over and over in my head, I found myself in a bar. I began drinking to suppress the anger inside me. The familiar faces at the bar were looking at me, but none said a word. Gary, the bartender, poured me my drink with his usual calm demeanor. After I finished my third glass, he finally couldn't hold back and asked, "What's going on, Sam?" as he looked at me. Maybe he could see the destruction I was going through. "Have you ever caught your wife with your best friend?" I asked, letting out a bitter laugh. Gary's eyebrows raised slightly, but he didn't seem too surprised. "Now, that's a bad situation," he said, squinting his eyes. "If you want to destroy them, take everything from them. Don't let them win this." At that moment, a spark ignited within me. Gary was right. That's exactly what I was going to do. Yes, I was destroyed, but I would destroy them too. And the worst part was, I couldn't stop until I had my revenge. When I woke up at dawn, my head felt like it was going to explode, but the desire for revenge was occupying my mind even more. It was time to pull myself together and take action. The first step was to divorce Melissa. I called a lawyer I knew and explained the situation. My lawyer listened carefully, sensing my anger. "This won't end cleanly, Sam, but I'll protect you," he said. When I hung up the phone and walked into the living room, I saw Melissa's laptop. The opportunity for revenge was staring me right in the face. Melissa had been preparing for a crucial work presentation for days. This presentation could be a turning point in her career. I opened the laptop and browsed through the files. When I found the presentation, a devilish idea came to me. I inserted some content in the middle of the presentation, specifically in areas that would offend her Korean business partners. It was certain that things were about to go south. That evening, when Melissa came home, there was no smile on her face. Her eyes were blazing with anger, and I understood what had happened. She had realized it the moment she walked in. She threw her laptop against the wall. The screen shattered into pieces, and she stormed toward me in fury. "You're an idiot. What did you think you'd gain by ruining my presentation?" she shouted. I looked at her calmly from where I sat. "I know exactly what I did," I replied coldly. "You've ruined me. I lost my job. This presentation could destroy my career, and you did this just to get revenge." Then the words that came out of her mouth fueled my anger even more. "You think you've ruined me? Jason and I have been together for years. You were so blind that the idea never even crossed your mind. We were together even when his wife died. While you were mourning, we were celebrating." That was a heavy blow. How had I not noticed the betrayal happening right in front of me all this time? This woman could no longer be a part of my life. When the divorce process began with Melissa, things moved quickly. The division of assets, the sale of the house, everything in our lives was being broken up and scattered. When the house was sold, I felt a sense of relief. Getting rid of that place meant everything was over, but it didn't end there. What happened with Emma brought a new chaos into my life. That night, when I was drunk, what happened between us? I knew how wrong it was, but the anger, betrayal, and alcohol had pulled me into that moment. By morning, everything felt surreal. What happened with Emma only happened once, but there was no turning back after that. One day, Emma made me a strange proposition. A photo, a picture of her makeup smeared from that night. "Show that picture to my dad, Sam. This might be the only way to get me out of this life," she said. At first, I thought she was joking, but there was a real determination in her eyes. She was tired of being controlled by her father. She wanted to live her own life. This photo was like a bomb that could destroy everything. At that moment, I made a decision. Jason deserved this. He had to feel the pain I was going through. I sent the photo to him in a text. Just a few minutes later, Jason's car pulled up in front of the house. He slammed the door open and stormed inside, rage in his eyes. "What the hell is this, Sam?" he shouted, holding up his phone. There was no turning back now. "You know exactly what it is," I said. Jason lunged at me, our fists flying. Furniture toppled over. We were covered in blood, but we didn't stop. When the police arrived, they found us bloodied. Neither of us pressed charges. We were both too tired of everything. Time passed. Melissa and Jason's lives went downhill much more than mine. Melissa lost her job, her career was ruined, and their relationship drowned in alcohol and eventually turned violent. While they burned in their own hell, I was trying to rebuild myself. With the help of a psychologist, I began to lighten the weight of everything I had been through. Emma, meanwhile, started a new chapter in her life, moving to a new city, finding a new job. I still spoke to her occasionally, but we had both forgotten about that night. In the end, after all this chaos, only one thing remained: taking back control of my life. Sometimes to survive, you have to burn everything down and walk through the ashes. That's exactly what I did.